Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a best of 3 between hero here spawning as our red Protoss in the bottom left versus none other than Dark in the top right. I do believe that both players share a team here, although hero is for whatever reason, whenever hero plays these online games, he almost always plays on a barcode, but then his clan name is actually hero with 3 O's, which is an interesting thing. I'm not quite sure why he does it, but because surely if you're giving away that you're hero already in your clan name, the barcode kind of, defeats its purpose. I think Innovation used to do something similar, where you used to just play a bunch on a barcode in all these online tournaments. Which is like, well, that pretty much reveals who you are. So I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of a barcode is in that case, but I respect the decisions that are being made here. We have a... Ooh, this was a delayed hatchery. Sorry, I missed that start, but I think this must have been blocked a little bit, and then Dark pretended to take a third base, is what I'm kind of expecting here. So the finish is up 210. So... And it wasn't an early pull, because these links are just standard timing. We have a Stargate coming out of hero over here, 2 minutes and 17 seconds into the game. And a double queen here popping out now for Dark. Now, I do believe that hero currently is the best Protoss versus Zerg player in the world. Is he still the greatest Protoss player in the world? That's something people ask often. And according to Aligalak, I believe the answer as of this moment is no. MaxPax has a higher Aligalak rating. But I think that mainly is from PvP and perhaps a little bit of PvT in there as well. MaxPax is a little bit weaker in that Protoss versus Zerg matchup than hero is. Hero has this insane aggression in the early game that often puts him so far ahead that it's impossible to lose. And then he doesn't lose in the mid game. And even if he's behind, it feels like it doesn't really matter that much for him. He just kind of, keeps going and somehow, some way gets back into the game. He's a very impressive player to watch play. As a Protoss player myself, of course, as well. Ooh, Dark starting here with no creep tumor. Now, this is very different from what you usually see out of Zerg players. Majority of the time, the first thing the natural queen does is throw down a creep tumor to really starting to get that going. This does allow more larva and thus more production coming out of the natural, which means we should have slightly more larva flotation in the main. Because the majority of the time, so when something like this happens, when you have a lot of larva in your natural, you want to be using all the larva in your natural for building drones. If you have limited money, imagine you have 150 resources, right? You want to use, and there's 6 larvae, 3 in the natural, 3 in the main. You want all of them to be built in the natural, because the walking distance from the natural towards the natural minerals is of course shorter, and thus you have slightly more money than you otherwise would have had. But I think these extra injects actually were for this this round of links that Dark is sending out right now. I'm not quite sure if that got scouted or not by the Phoenix. Oracle is moving back and stays at home, frightened for what the future brings. Adept gets warped in. Is this off a single gate? No, this is double gate. Second gate just not quite done yet. This Oracle can help and should probably help. It has enough energy to zap 1 or 2 links here. Actually, yeah, did just zap, I think 3-4 links there. Absolutely fine. And both players losing something. Ooh, 16 more links on the way though, as we have a second Oracle as well as a third Oracle coming in here. Double gas is in the natural for hero. And I hope that hero scouts this. It's really important he kind of gets some vision on those links. I think he saw a couple over here on the bottom side. These bad boys make their way across the map. Battery already finished though. Double gate also done. I almost feel like Dark is putting himself behind here for no real reason. Battery gets constructed in the natural. 2 more Adept get warped in as this Oracle makes its way into the main base, where there's actually not a single spore. That means that hero can get 2 kills. And hopefully will not lose his own Oracle. Nope, he won't. Phoenix is still happily killing Overlords as well. It's gonna get a third Overlord kill here. That is pretty fantastic for a Phoenix, to be honest. And now these Adepts are, well, ballsy enough to start fighting these links, as long as the Oracles are above them, of course. Charge and +1 as a follow-up here for hero. No Robo with this, no Templar Archives with it yet either. We do have a 4th Oracle coming in right now. So it seems like hero keen on playing something of a, I don't want to say mass Oracle, but, an enhanced number of Oracles. definitely higher than we're used to out of Protoss players. So it's gonna go up to 4 here, and it wouldn't completely baffle me if he would go for something like a 4 or 5 Oracle attack here with a bunch of Zealots trying to hit that fort base the moment his charge as well as his +1 finishes. This is a risky attack, not quite sure what he was thinking there. This base is completely devoid of any queens whatsoever, and that means that a bunch of workers are going to be taken out here. 9 more workers added onto the, well, already 2 that got killed earlier on. I actually thought it was more, but only 2. It is what it is. Now Templar Archives is being built as well here, as we might actually have a bit of a 6 gas push here out of hero, who is getting his robo and probably also getting a prism with this, right? That seems to be the main goal often of the robo initially, is to get that prism. Oh, Stasis Ward does get constructed. It doesn't really get anything. There's still enough energy to get another one in even after that revelation. Fort base is now on the way, as we have this melee upgrade about to finish up, and I actually think that the hero, I don't want to say got lucky here, but when it comes to the build orders, he definitely is on the correct side of the aisle here. He has the 6 gas charge lot zealot, or sorry, charge lot Archon build. Ooh, keeps both of these alive. Or actually, this one might, no, keeps both of them alive. While Dark opened up with +1 melee, and +1 melee is very good if you're playing against a low gas Protoss style, specifically going into Blinkstalker, into charge. Now, if you're playing against a high gas style like hero is doing here, Zerg actually would like to be higher gas themselves as well. Staying on low gas is absolutely not optimal. And the reason for that is because you're basically all in the moment you're not on at least, well, kind of pretty much equal gas as the Protoss player. Like, you're forced into attacking into your opponent, and I think that's what it's going to be here, a Ravager Ling Bane attack, although Dark might be thinking that he needs to do this defensively, which I can't completely disagree with. He just doesn't have that much. He's on 76 workers right now. We have this Baneling Nest about to finish up. We're going to see the centrifugal hooks come out, and on this Evo chamber, most likely the +2. Disruptors are being added in, as well as a fleet beacon. I think it's going to be for that carrier transition of a single... a single Stargate. It's a new thing that I haven't seen before. Single Stargate carrier transition. So in 5 minutes from now, he's going to have 4 carriers. That's real nice. Dark is shivering in his boots as we speak. Oh no, not 1.5 carriers. That sounds awful. This attack has some potential to clear maybe some static defense, but Oracle's already getting back home as well, and triple Oracles really do pack a punch. Disruptor over here, trying to tank these Baneling shots. Air weapons level 1, about to finish up. And I think, honestly, at this point, hero is completely safe. I don't really see a way for him to lose this game in the next minute and a half. And I don't really see a way for Dark to transition out of his current position. So we're stuck in a very odd situation in which... ooh, in my mind, Dark is pretty much all in, but his all in is already dead on arrival. It can't do anything anymore. Roaches are moving forward. Baneling's trying to get connections with these probes, I guess. This is a full wall, apparently. Hero was not aware of that either. He's going to lose 18 workers. Okay, that is actually a big hit. And all of a sudden, perhaps damage is back on the table here, back on the menu. Dark moves away with these roaches. He's like, hey, wait a second. Can I throw down a Spire here and maybe go into an extra gas and play somewhat of a late game? Is it all of a sudden a possibility again? He tries to go in for another Baneling run by. I do think that hero is going to be a little bit quicker with the response here, or a little bit more competent with the response. Does lose a lot of Zealots still. In a bunch of Harkons also going down. Uh-oh, hero all of a sudden in trouble. Everything looked fine. The weather was good, but now I'm not so sure anymore. Baneling's connected with literally every single one of these Zealots. 1700 minerals in the bank still here for Dark. Dark is doing this, I think. Well, he isn't even winning necessarily, but his position now compared to his position a minute ago is so much better. This should not have been possible, all starting with that 18 probe kill. Now, Dark does throw away a bunch of his roaches here, and we see a single drone. I was going to say a round of drones, but so far just going to be a single drone. Melee upgrades are finishing up as well, and this actually gives the ability to Dark to get some big run-bys in, because once you have +2 on those Banelings, you're one-shotting probes. That means that every Baneling run-by is potentially game-ending. So we'll see him go for that as well, right? He's getting a couple of banelings at home. He's going to try to find a hole in hero's armor somewhere where he can hit with those banelings. And we see a baneling morph on the left side. We see these banelings running in from the right side, 2 towards the third base, 4 towards the fourth base, or maybe 6 towards the fourth base. Double Archons are in position. No, they're moving away just as they come in. 3 cannons, are they going to be enough? The answer is, yeah, kind of, I guess. As these 4 bad boys are not going to be capable of dealing the damage that they wanted to. Here come a lot of links now taking out those cannons, actually fully committing with these links, going on top of these probes. And that doesn't mean he's going to lose a couple of links, but he does end up killing 7 workers here. That is an okay deal. It's 69 workers. It's not like hero is balling in 110 workers here. 5 bases, easy to reproduce. He isn't even maxed at this point. Has some fantastic air upgrades though, I'll give him that. And is on 3 carriers already. Wow, that's some high-paced carrier production. Now, there are triple stargates out, and they could be used, but they aren't right now. I mean, cash is available. I think Hero is kind of wondering whether going into full-on carrier production is the best thing. Yeah, he started a couple of Void Rays, now goes into carriers. The thing with carriers is that if your opponent has enough corruptors out, all of a sudden those carriers aren't good aggressively anymore. And I think Hero believes that he still has an aggressive timing somewhere. Here comes a baneling run by though. Let's take a first person look here on Hero. Looks at Revelation on the army, but he's going to lose a lot of workers in his fort base as he's not paying attention. 14 do go down, and this was Dark's goal all along. Look, the moment Dark achieved the goal of hitting the probes, he decides to start going back home. He's completely outplaying Hero here, but Hero did have a very significant early game lead. And I think if Hero were to wait till +3, wait until he has 6, 7, 8 carriers, and goes across the map, is there really something that Dark can do about that? There are no upgrades, no armor, no attack, no nothing on these corruptors. There are no spore walls. I don't think it's possible for there to be spore walls within the next minute and a half. I don't think infestors are realistic either, and I'm not sure if Viper Corruptor actually would do something here. Like trying to fly into these carriers with this amount of Archons underneath, that's going to be very, very difficult in my opinion. What is this? This is 10 gas for Dark. Who's going for a base trade. I really like this call actually. He says, hey, I don't think I can fight this straight up, but what do you think about this, buddy? Oh, if you can get the +3, that would be nice. Yes, that is a very good start here. Carriers now flying back home. A couple of zealots do get left behind. Dark needs to evacuate this base and probably needs to deal some more damage himself as well if he wants to continue playing in this game, because he just lost 18 workers and he did not kill enough on the other side. Oh, zealots still going ham here in that natural as the queens now show up. Lots of links will end up falling. A bunch of probes will also go down. These corruptors are just kind of, well, idly shooting at these oracles. But yeah, whatever. You know, if we really have to. Poof. Another oracle gets taken out, but I do believe that Dark lost a little bit too much here. We have a crap ton of gas in the bank still for Hero as well, so can just warp in another 4-ish Archons and move across the map. +1 on the air is about to finish up for Dark, but does Dark really have anything? Can he make anything work here? I think the answer is going to be no. There's no answer for the Archons. There's no real answer. Well, there's an answer for the carriers if there were an answer for the Archons, right? If you have 12 Brute Lords, this Corruptor count might actually do the trick against the 5 carriers, but there's nothing to deal with the Archons, and thus the carriers also are untouchable all of a sudden. This is a really good attack, a good pickoff, taking out these 2 Archons, maybe even gonna get a 3rd Archon here if he's careful with his Ling movement. Super Battery does get activated as a Zealot warp in, another Archon falls. This base is still pretty much untouched as Ground Gather base level 1 finishes up. Not sure if that's the upgrade that's going to change the game, but apparently Dark thinks it might. GG gets called here. Hero wins game number 1 at the back of that great early game, but almost letting it slip there in the mid stage. Game number 2 will be here on Altitude, which should be, is usually a veto, but not this time around. This is a non-veto map apparently for Hero. He opens up with a core before Nexus. And I've seen him do this before as of late. This is a really cool build order that I actually think is the superior version of something that a lot of Protoss players have been doing. Okay? So, when Protoss no scouts, very often what we see is a gas first out of Protoss into a gateway on the low ground and then a nexus before core. This allows you to get a crap ton of gas in the early game. You don't get an early game scout, and you also can't really do any damage with adepts. Now, hero said, you know what? I'm going to no scout, gate into gas, then oversaturate my first gas by quite a bit to still get a lot of gas, have a very fast Stargate, but because I went core before Nexus, I also still have this quick adept, which allows me to check on my opponent, perhaps deal some damage, force something in the early game. So rather than using his greedy opener to be more greedy, he says, hey, I'm using my greedy opener to be aggressive. And I think that is a very hero-esque decision. Look at this. And here I actually understand the inject into the natural first over the creep tumor, because the creep tumor simply would not be done yet by the time this first adept arrives, because this is from core first. It's a very big difference. Now, we'll see if Dark is realizing what's going on. We'll figure out whether Dark knows how to count. I think he does know how to count. He should be building some new links already at this point. He's adding more drones. 4 links for 2 adepts. That does look a little bit scary, but luckily Hero is not going to match up these adept shades in. So I think Dark's going to be just fine. Now starts his 6 links, but those would have of course been too late for these 2 adepts. So yeah, keep that in mind here, that Dark theoretically has lost this game already. Hey, this game is over. Congratulations, Dark. 0-2. Next. That is what Hero's saying right now. Oracle's making its way across the map, and it's going to allow these adepts to stay around for just a tiny bit longer as well. Just a tiny bit longer. You can also send them back home, but then your Oracles will need to deal some damage in the main base. There we go. Flies into the main, kills 1, kills 2, kills 3. Might be in a little bit of trouble. No, takes a bunch of whole damage, but not the end of the world. Natural completely left open during this, by the way. So risky defensive maneuver there out of Dark. Not quite sure why he sent a 4th queen over as well. I think he regretted that immediately the moment he did it. As these drones over here on the 3rd base are not just in trouble, they are dead. That would be quite something. Your mom tells you you're in trouble. Usually it doesn't mean you're going to get zapped by a laser beam. But for these drones, that's definitely the case. Like, you guys are in trouble, and bzz, bzz, 4 seconds later, you and all of your friends are gone. Life as you know it has ended. Or well, life in general has ended, because you're now dead. There's a corpse on the floor that the other drones continue mining in. Good lord. Capitalism truly is brutal. As we have Twilight Council Forge coming out here for Hero. Another pylon coming up. He's a little bit supply block, which is silly. Or bad. Probably just bad. Being supply block generally is bad. So like a funny little joke. Ha, ha, ha. No, it's sad and it hurts. I wonder what opener we're going to be seeing here out of Dark. We don't have an Evo chamber yet, so I'm kind of feeling a Road Warring being added here at some point, but Dark's getting completely outplayed here. Holy crap. Is it possible to have a worse early game? I'm not quite sure if it is. Oh my god, that was poor control on those Oracles. At the same time, we have 6 adepts moving in, trying to get some kills here. Link's going in for the surround, not quite going to get it. And I think every single adept is going to escape. The worker count for Hero continues flourishing. We have 14 more links on the way here for Dark. What's he gonna do with that? Well, probably not a whole lot. Maybe something nice to look at while he's being sad about the current state of affairs, because it just doesn't look very good. We now have an Evo chamber, no Roach Warren. I think this is the incorrect play. I much would have preferred a Roach Warren, a higher gas count here for Dark, but it's not what's happening. He's going into a big link style against someone that is going to be pressuring him with, I think, charged salads at some point. Oh, what? You have +1 range? Okay, we are going into a higher gas count. Nice. Oh, more links? Really? I don't think we need that. I think what we need right now is drones, Dark. Drones is what we need. Look at this, 64 against 57. Hero's having an absolute blast here. He's already taking a 4th base. It's adding that Templar Archives. It's going to be adding gases into his third, I think, somewhat soon. Yep, there we go. Gases are being added. The depths will keep this fort base safe for now. And here, I mean, hero is just really far ahead. Like, really, really far ahead. Has a lot happened. Yeah, 9 worker kills. I guess that's a little bit, but it doesn't justify Dark being this far ahead. Dark just randomly builds links in moments where he doesn't need them, and then has a drone count that is way lower than it should be. And as a Zerg player, you always do need drones. Dark right now is going to be forced into playing defensive Roach Hydra Lurker. This is the only thing he can do. And that is not a very good thing to do, let me tell you, against a player like hero. Hero is extremely solid against these Lurker styles. Often killing people before they get there, and otherwise just playing it slow. Or well, playing it fast actually. And slowly but surely tearing them apart. You have a double army split here, coming out of hero. One army on the bottom side, with a full wall as well. And one army on the top side, trying to deal with these links. The fact that hero is playing this well on altitude really shows me he's a different level. This map is so difficult for Protoss. I'm very impressed by how well he's doing it. This is a terrible base to take as well, because you're fighting into a high ground often. So things like roaches, hydras, just taking out this wall for free is super frustrating, of course. Oracle count is non-existent. Phoenixes are being chrono boosted. I think hero believes that Muras are being produced right now, which is, well, false. There's a lot of things being built right now for Dark, but none of those start with an M. Just really roaches. Sorry, an R. A couple of links maybe. Is there another unit for Zerg that starts with an M? Mutalisk, Moodlord. Nah, not really. The Mydralisk. Nah. Mainling. Merkling. Muin. This doesn't look like an attack that has any potential. Like, legitimately none. Okay, Phoenixes get shown here. And I think right now Dark's going to be pretty happy with that. It's like, okay, nice. Managed to trick him at least somehow. So there's a lot of resources invested in something that is completely useless here for a hero. It's going to be capable of dealing maybe a little bit of damage, but any damage you deal right now is going to be basically pure mineral damage. And pure mineral damage at this point is not so important, but you did waste a lot of gas, which could have been used on quicker tech. Either carriers, Templar Archives with Storm. I guess he has Templar Archives already, but just Storm getting a couple Templar out. I really do think he regrets building those Phoenixes as we speak. Because he has freaking 8 of them as well. That's 800 gas. It's a lot of Stargate time. Your army is just turning into this massive kind of gasless unit blob. And then you have a bunch of Phoenixes above it, which is not great in the later stages of the game. It's fine in the early stages of the game, but not really in the later stages. Alright. Overlord's going to get sniped here. We have more going down. No, not really. Oh. They're gonna get attacked. Interesting too. A couple of Phoenixes flying around and really just looking for damage. Actually finding more than probably they should ever. This is an attack that I think is not meant to kill. This is an attack where you're trying to take out a couple of creep tumors. And make the move out for the Zerg very bothersome. So if Zerg ever wants to move out with lurkers, they need to move very far off creep. They have less vision. I think it's always a good thing to do. This is a high cannon count, by the way. 6 cannons here towards the right side. 2 cannons over here on the third. Probably going to see a bunch of cannons over here as well. This Zealot run by starts hitting the 6th base right now. Dark is still in the mindset that is really far behind. And I think that is true. But I think that is also true because Dark was playing like it. Because these Phoenixes really should have been kind of the great equalizer for him in this game. Lurker count is at 9 right now. We have the Seismic Spines. We have the Adaptive Talents. We do have a Spore Wall as well, as Dark starts kind of pushing that Spore Wall forward to try and get that 6 base set up. Has a setup over here on the left as well. A couple of spores down here. So it is a solid setup, but The thing with lurkers is that if you're not on the map with lurkers and you're sitting there defensively waiting for the proles to hit you, life often isn't so good. Proles can out-expand you, can easily deny all of your creep pretty much for free, and you're just sat there doing nothing. Every now and again hitting them with a spine from the lurker. Now 4 Vipers are moving into position, and this can always potentially turn games around. So Protoss walks in here, you pull in 4, 5, 6 units, and then you straight up counterattack after you kill those units. I think that is generally a very good play. Now, double Spires have finished up, but are not being used yet. Okay, there we go. As I say, it starts as +1 Carapace as well as attack. Flyer attacks, it's called. Flyer Carapace. At the same time, we have double Cybernetic score for Hero, pumping out upgrades for his carriers, as well as getting Flux Veins. It's a very kind of patient, nothing happens kind of game. And I'm not sure what I think of that. I do believe that right now is an okay timing for Hero to just start doing things and just being on the map, taking out creatures. It's so important against Lurker. I just can't stress that enough, how important that is. Now, Watchtower got taken out here by the cooling debris or whatever that is. And a hatchery will be set up here. Phoenix is not quick enough with the pickup there. As Dark is moving into 12 gas. Soon perhaps trying to go into 13 gas. Parasitic bombs get used on Phoenixes. It almost feels like a waste. I feel like you kind of want your opponent to have Phoenixes at this point, as they don't really contribute in a fight. That's a lot of dead supply. But maybe I'm incorrect about that. Now carriers are starting to move out. And is there really anything to deal with those carriers? We have 6 Hydras, 9 Lurkers, 4 Vipers, and 7 more Lurkers on the way. This is an okay spore count, but can't you just target those down? I think he can actually, yeah. He's going for it. Viper's now moving in, and Vipers can also get targeted down, of course. Good abducts here on those carriers, on that mothership as well, but there's just no damage output at all. Like, spores are good, but I don't think they're good enough for this. These are solid carriers. They have +1 attack already, +2 soon. Now, mothership is going to end up falling here against a Hydra and a half, but the spore wall has now disappeared. There's 15 corruptors on the way. 15, yes. I am saying it. 15, 1, 5. 18 corruptors on the way. They are going to be helpful, but they all need to come out in the same spot, or they're not going to be quite as helpful as they'd like to be. Now, the main army of heroes trying to kind of get back together with these bad boys. Okay, here come the corruptors moving forward, moving forward. Are we going to see a recall here, or is this it? I think it's is this recall material? I don't know. Here comes a parasitic bomb, flies in. The local maneuver gets utilized. As a lot of these interceptors are now falling. Look at that interceptor count. Practically 0 at this point, but the lurkers have also mainly disappeared. Phoenix is lifting and cancelling, lifting and cancelling, lifting and cancelling as the final 2 lurkers get put in the air. I thought the Phoenix were useless, but no, the Phoenix got utilized to a great extent here. Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful play. Local maneuver worked against the carriers, but the ground force was too strong here for Hero and just pushes through. Bank is large, and the problem here is that carriers and ground is still alive. So you need a mix between trying to fight the ground force as well as the carriers. So we see corruptors being added in, as we see Hydras and more lurkers being built as well. But I think Dark is just absolutely in a world of trouble here. Struggling to stay alive in this game. Would love to say +3 starting. Right now we have 5 Stargates pumping out carriers at a high pace. That means we're going back up to 7 carriers against a mere 10 corruptors. And as Dark's income is actually rather low for some reason, I guess losing the gold and losing this base does that to you. There must be some major oversaturation going on somewhere, because he has freaking 82 workers. Okay, some major oversaturation in the main base, that's for sure. Okay, now we're seeing these lurkers burrow. Is the corruptor count enough? We're gonna see 2 Vipers being added in as well, which is fantastic, of course. Oh, Revelation gets cast. Archon count is large. Here come all the carriers. Papa Carrier has arrived. That's 7 bad boys. I think he can almost just march in here. Actually, not almost. I think he can just march in here without any real issues. Pure carrier here is going to be fantastic. Yeah, there we go. He's going to pre-spread a little bit. Archon's tanking a lot of those lurker shots. But as the spread is good, I think the Archons stay around long enough here to deal with the corruptors. And then the carriers eventually will deal with these lurkers. Yeah, and this was the plan all along. Supply does dwindle a little bit here for hero, but immediately starts 5 Void Rays, and GG gets called as Dark taps out, loses game number 2 as well, and thus will lose this best of 3. That, my dear friends, is going to be it for me, hero, and Dark, and also for you. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.